Hi everybody, Callan Bentley here from Piedmont, Virginia Community College, and I am up at Grinnell Glacier in Glacier National Park, Montana. Behind me you can see the terminus of the glacier, which is the downstream end, the front of the glacier where it's losing ice mass. Ice is lost here through three mechanisms. One is melting, of course, and then another one is calving, and you can see some really nice evidence here of these big shard-like blocks of ice that have come off the glacier and have piled up in front of it. And during warmer times, those can then float out into this lake here and become icebergs. Today, it happens that the lake is pretty close to almost completely frozen over, although there are a few open patches of water where my crazy students just went swimming. And then the third mechanism where glaciers can lose ice mass, especially in an arid climate like modern day Montana, is through sublimation, where water molecules go directly from the solid phase into the gaseous phase. So if you take a look at some of the features here, you can see there's some really dirty layers. Those are years when a lot of rock debris piled up on top of the glacier and then got buried under, the subsequent winter's worth of snow. In fact, while we've been here, we've seen two rock falls off of these big cliffs that are up above us. Thankfully, none really close to where we were and putting us at risk. But that's a process that's ongoing to this day. And if you look over there, for instance, you can see some of these dirty patches where some rockfall has occurred this very summer. The other thing I'll point out here is that the layers of ice within the glacier have been folded. So the glacier is flowing ductily and it is being controlled by the contours of the landscape. And so that sometimes causes these formerly, planar layers to get kind of contorted up. And so you can see a little bit of that in the background here as well. Last thing to say is that Glacier National Park's glaciers are not doing especially well. They are melting off, and the area here behind me was glacial ice, about 100 years ago. And since that time, it's melted back to this current position, which is sort of protected by the big cliff to the south of it. So it's basically in the shadow of that cliff. We're in the northern hemisphere, so a north-facing cliff has a nice shadow for much of the year, and that's why the glacier persists here. Whereas if you look across the cirque, the other side of this tarn, you can see that there is no glacial ice over there because that's a south-facing slope. So slope aspect matters when it comes to preserving glacial ice.